Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the GT Cup here at here at Le Castellet. We are here at Paul Ricard for the for the GT Cup Open Europe round 4 here. It's been a long trip since Spa-Francorchamps, but we are now here at France, southern France, 5.822 kilometers clockwise direction with 15 turns, 9 to the right, 6 to the left, 50 minutes of racing with a driver change period open in the middle of the race. And the sun beating down. It's getting warm out there, but at the head of the field, we have got Matteo Lovisi, who is on top. Now, there were some stewards' notes that I have received through. Rumour has it of some corner cutting that we have seen through the course of things. Apparently, there was an issue at turn 4, and they've amended the order. It was, of course, Luca Ludwig, who did actually, we believed, qualified on pole after qualifying this morning, but after the stewards looked at it, it turns out that Matteo Lovisi in car 67 would get the place back due to track cutting infringements at turn 4. So by the looks of it, there was a little issue there on part of the drivers. Of course, Luca Ludwig, Arturo Melgar losing places as a consequence. Your commentary team here, George Morgan, joining me, Chris Stevens. And Chris, a little bit of late drama there. Obviously, we thought it was Ludwig on pole. Turns out now he's been demoted to second.
Yes, and of course the top two in the championship on the front row of the grid, but now in a different order to what they were before. But Lovisi is going to have his hands full with a flurry of Mertel Motorsport cars right behind him, who I'm sure are all going to be doing their best to help Luca Ludwig out as much as they can. Yeah, GDL have got their hands full, but before they had the pole taken away from them, it was pretty stunning from Mertel, because they were top 2 overall and top 2 in AM as well. They still are top 2 in AM, actually, with Fernando Navarrete starting 4th position overall, and Laura van den Hengel with easily her best qualifying performance of the season in 10th position overall and 2nd of the AM runners. But once again, we're in for another fantastic fight between the Porsches and the Ferraris that make up the GT Cup Europe field, with Porsche on pole position, Ferrari starting alongside them as well, and 3 other Porsches that will be starting inside the top 10. And then in AM, well, it's just a bit of a free-for-all, really. 12th down to 17th, all AM cars as well. So it will be very interesting 50 minutes of racing ahead, particularly in terms of the championship, because the top 2, Matteo Lovisi and Luca Ludwig, have both won the last 4 races. And they're separated in the championship at the moment by just 1 point.
Yeah, and while Luca Ludwig, of course, is on second place, despite very nearly taking pole, and did, in fact, this morning set the fastest time, despite obviously then the corner infringements coming to roost, his teammate, Ivan Velasco, does harness a nice little bit of form around this track. Won here. He won the Drivers' Championship last season, did Ivan Velasco, along with Jorge Gabezas. But last season, the actual winners of this race were actually going to Rosso Corsa. Andrea Bellicci, Lorenzo Innocenti winning on both counts. And it was a fabulous weekend as far as they were concerned. But a good omen for Ferrari by the looks of it. So a good opportunity for the likes of Mertel to join the likes of Rosso Corsa in becoming race winners around this very track. And but they're going to have to try and dice and get past the Porsche of Matteo Lovisi and Federico Al-Rafai, who no doubt is going to take full advantage of this. Arturo Melgar, another one to watch out for, but yes, a brilliant qualifying session for Fernando Navarrete in the AM. We've got 5 minutes until we get underway, everybody, so it's going to be a stagnant look on the grid right now as the heat boils over. Plenty of activity on the home straight, which is always great to see. Umbrellas out just to try and block out some of the sunlight. Track temperature sitting at 53.4 degrees with 30.4 degree air temperature alike. There is our pole sitter, Matteo Lovisi, looking set to get started, obviously looking to proceed onwards and maybe make the most of this situation that they have. Of course, Matteo Lovisi himself, an Italian GTC AM champion, and looking to harness that same form again. He'll be handing over to Federico Al-Rafai when the driver changeover comes around. Next up, we have Luca Ludwig, a GT Masters champion back in 2015, competed in the GT Masters between 2009 and 2019. Has also competed in Ferrari Challenge and the Nürburgring 24 hours. He was a class winner back in 2020, and he'll be handing over later on to Ivan Velasco. There's Arturo Melgar, who was also exceptional earlier on today, Spanish Karting Championship runner-up, and also an FIA Karting Academy Trophy runner-up as well. Representing the Mertal Motorsport team, will be handing over to Stefano Bozzoni later. There's Fernando Navarrete, currently lined up 4th place on the grid, and he actually has acclaimed various different wins and championships in his past. A Peugeot 207 Cup Spain winner, and finished P2 in that in 2009, was a winner or lay claim to the championship in 2011 in his own right. So has got a right pedigree, has also competed in the FIA Motorsport Games back in 2019 and 2022. Alex Ryman, someone else who is probably looking forward to a decent race, and he can appear at the front here, Chris.
He certainly can. He was victorious here last year, was he not? As well. So he will certainly be looking to find that form, although he's got a lot of stiff competition here. Lorenzo Innocenti here, still with Nicolo Schiro alongside him in the car. And I was having a chat with them earlier on. Andrea Bellici was due to be back in the car for this weekend, having now recovered from the back injury he sustained at Hockenheim. But you never guess what? He's got kidney stones.
Oh, good Lord.
This week. You cannot believe the boy's luck, can you? So I'm told he's at home in tears.
Even if it's a hot day here, when it rains it pours in the world of Andrea Bellici.
Yes, so we'll have to wait another race to see Andrea Bellici back at the wheel of the Rosso Corsa car. But for now, it's still Nicolo Schiro partnering Lorenzo Innocenti. Great qualifying here for Laura van den Hengel. Top 10 overall, second of the AM classification. That, of course, is the all-female pairing there, sharing the car with Alba Vasquez, the Spanish touring car convert as well. Laura herself coming straight from karting into GT competition, and that car supported by female mechanics and engineers as well. One of the many stories coming out of the Mertel tent this weekend. Yeah,
absolutely. As we pan across, there is the look at the Rosso Corsa car that has sustained some cosmetic changes after an issue back in free practice, but back again to try and challenge for even more success here at Paul Ricard. Looking further back, you can just see as well the Romanian entry, the 21, of course, making its presence felt here on the grid. But yes, a very busy championship as of this season. It's only shown signs of growing. Well, let's take you through the highlights from last time out at Spa. It seems quite a long time ago now, as we witnessed the two, what looks to be the Mertal Ferrari leading the way. The Rosso Corsa as well, Lorenzo Innocenti coming into blows as well, trying to challenge. Could not quite pull that one off, heading through Les Combes. We saw some fabulous work as well from Steens Longin, who was doing his very utmost to try and challenge. But it was a victory for Mertel's very own Luca Ludwig and Ivan Velasco. Race 2 would get underway, a very fraught start once again, but it was Porsche dominant really at the very front of the field. We saw Davide Scanicchio, but of course Fabio Babini taking the early stint. Cena's Longin's car entry also getting spun coming out of turn 1 as well. But a fabulous moment as Federico Al-Rafai would also challenge at the very front of the order, coming to blows with Lorenzo Innocenti as they then made their way up towards the line. The Rosso Corsa car could not quite do it, and it was a win for Lovisi and Al-Rafai. So off the back of Spa, this is how the championship looks, folks. And a solitary point is all that had separated them. It was 3 points now between Ludwig Velasco, Al-Rafai with the championship lead with Matteo Lovisi. 59 points at the top of the field with 56 going to Ludwig and Velasco. Nicolas Salins and Steens Longin with 41 points for the back in third place. But plenty of opportunities for many of the drivers, and in the meantime, as we get set for the formation lap for the very start of this GT Cup Open race at Paul Ricard, let's take you through the starting grid. Matteo Lovisi starts on pole position. Alongside him, Luca Ludwig for Mertal Motorsport Ferrari. Arturo Melgar starts third, with fourth place going to Fernando Navarrete Rodrigo. Further down the grid then we go to fifth place, Jorge Cabezas, who lines up alongside Alex Ryman in sixth place. Of course, Cabath has to be swapping over for Annie Frozio come driver change period. Lorenzo Innocenti lines up 7th with Nicolas Shiro taking up later on further down. Then Steens long in. Xander Prisbalak starts in 9th place. Laura van den Hengel, very impressive getting into the top 10 in qualifying. Great performance. 11th place for Evgeny Leonov. And then 12th place, Nicholas van Dierendonk. 13th place for Martinius Richter. Further down then, Lauren van der Velde in 14th. 15th place goes to Florentin Zescu, part of the Romanian outfit. Then further down, and in 16th is Leandro Martins. Then further back, it's Johannes Zelger in 17th with Davide Scanicchio in 18th place. 19th place goes to Leo Chen, then having 20th place Philip Vils. And then onwards to Pascal Bachmann, who starts in 21st place in the Ferrari, this time not a Porsche. 22nd for Javier Ripoll Jr. And then down in 23rd, Indrek Jaska, with 24th place going to Stefano Zerbi. Further down then in 25th place, Jim Michaelian. But that's your grid for this GT Cup Open Europe race, and already some drama.
Oh, no.
That's the
Street
Arts Ferrari that, of course, we alluded to the body kit situation earlier on, obviously in qualifying, but looks like they might have some other problems, Chris.
Yeah, so that car's been pulled off the grid. There does also seem to be, who's behind Davide Scanicchio? Yeah, it's a Philippe Vils sized hole on the grid. So he was due to start from 20th overall. And I don't know if we have Jim Michaelian on the grid either. So we might be down to 22 before we've even got going, sadly. But definitely we have lost 2. And so, unfortunately for Street Arts, their return to racing in the GT Cup Europe is going to have to wait until tomorrow at this rate. So I think we might even have a ever so slightly delayed starting procedure just while we get everything cleared on the grid. You see Arturo Milga needs some air in the car, as does, who's in the
Navarrete,
Q1 car?
I think, in the 81, who was requesting a little bit of air opening the door.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, just sat there. And he's not alone, though, because the 47 of Alex Ryman also fancying a little bit more oxygen as well. It is getting exceptionally warm out there, and we are at the midway point of the day. 53.7 degree track temperature, 30.4 degree air temperature.
Lordy.
It is getting sizzly out there right now.
Yeah. Apparently, this is when the Michelin GT tyre actually works at its best in these sort of conditions. So it's not like they just crumble and melt, even though this is very much a high lateral load circuit, particularly in the third and final sector. Finally, Matteo Levisi is released for the formation lap. And, okay, yes, he's had pole position reinstated, but I still think he's going to have quite a tough job keeping that Ferrari at bay at the start of the race. We have seen the power of the Ferrari off the line is just something sensational, and so Levisi's going to have to be driving one of the widest Porsches you've ever seen.
I think so. And we know how good Luca Ludwig is, as I said, a former champion in GT machinery, all the way back in 2015, but we'll be looking to lay claim to the GT Cup Open Europe Championship as well, and especially given the form that they're on right now and the way the points are dialed up. They're in proximity to do so, but are still coming under fire from Matteo Levisi and Federico Al Rafai. Further back, Lorenzo Innocenti, there you can see him in his Rosso Corsa Ferrari, back again at it after their success here last season. And it looks like they might have had some oil leavings, I think, out on track. Now, I do wonder whether that's to do with the Ferrari belonging to Street Art. Maybe that's why they pulled it off the grid.
Probably it was. So they have to be making sure that's cleared up for the start of the race. Yeah, just put the sand down on the necessary area on the front straight. And the last thing you want is for these guys to be putting foot to the floor and spinning up their rear wheels over an oil slick for the start of the race. We had quite a big shunt here last year right at the start of the race, and there was multiple cars involved where they tried to squeeze 5 or 6 of them down the straight, and it just didn't work. But hopefully things go a little bit smoother this time as we watch the battle of the Porsche versus Ferrari once again. Top 2 in the championship starting on the front row of the grid, separated by just 1 point. I mean, that's just rubbing your hands together stuff, isn't it? It's so exciting to watch, and two very different kind of entries. Of course, it's Porsche versus Ferrari, but such a young, dynamic lineup in the GDL Porsche compared to the likes of Luca Ludwig, who's so experienced in GT racing, and Ivan Velasco, who he shares the car with, who is into his 40s. You could not get two more different entries lining up at the front of this field right now.
No, you certainly couldn't. Formation lap now starting to draw to a close, so it's between Matteo Levisi, Luca Ludwig up at the front end. Arturo Melgar might yet get a blissful start as well. We'll be looking to take full advantage of it as we look to get this race underway. Alike Lorenzo Fernando Innocenti currently sat in 7th place, with Stinas Longin waiting in the wings in 8th. You can guarantee they'll be looking for a busy start too. Jorge Cabezas, of course, will be handing over to Annie Frozio later on. What can Alex Ryman do from his position in 6th place? But Levisi and Ludwig form up at the front. Ferrari v Porsche all the way down through towards turn 1, not just in terms of what's going on track, but also in terms of the championship as a whole. And it's going to be mouth-watering for sure as they now round the final 2 corners now. Coming through the Pont very shortly after cruising around Delator. But as they now round the final bend, they'll then get set for the run down through towards turn 1. As I said, Matteo Levisi there on the left as we're looking at it, with Ludwig on the right. The lights currently blaze red, but they'll soon go green, and we'll put pedal to the metal, and it is go, 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 go. It is a great start for the Ferraris. Look at that. It is Luca Ludwig who leads the way, but he's not alone. He has got fellow Mertel driver Fernando Navarrete coming up through round the outside, all in white, trying to prosaically rise through, but having to take the off track, as does Alex Ryman, and he's not alone. Stinas Longin has done exactly the same. It's Navarrete who's out in front, but surely he has to give the place back. Absolutely. And so does Alex Ryman.
I mean, that was what an awful start for Matteo Levisi, absolutely swallowed up by the pack, and now 2 cars that have cut the chicane. So, well, really, our leader should be Luca Ludwig. He's the only one of that top lot who actually made the chicane. And so surely Navarrete and Ryman are going to have to give that position back because they went over the chicane at the first time of asking. But heading on to the Mistral, once again on board with the RO1 Racing, Florentin Cescu here, the Romanian outfit, still side by side as and confirmation on the timing screen, 81 and 47, that's the top 2, must give back the position. Jorge Cabezas, the reigning champion in the 85 Mertel Ferrari, trying to get on the inside of Matteo Levisi, and that opens up the door for Lorenzo Innocenti to try and come through on the exit of the chicane. Back on board with Tincescu further in the pack. It's Johannes Zelger in the Tsunami Porsche that is directly in front of him, heading back up the hill towards Scene Corner for the first time, but it's single file through there as Ryman, well, I thought he was giving up the place there, but that looked more like defending than letting through the rightful race leader. Behind them, it's Stinas Longin, then Arturo Melgar and Levisi in 6th position, then Cabezas, Lorenzo Innocenti, Xander Prispalak and Laura van den Hengel in the top 10.
Yeah, Fernando Navarrete still out in front as well, and is actually created with a gap, and it looks like finally that Luca Ludwig has managed to get through past Alex Ryman, who has foregone the place, but now Luca Ludwig needs to move back up to the front. Navarrete's got to forfeit as deemed by race control, so that's the decisive nature. We've got some more moves jostling further back as well, including the 83 of Laura van den Hengel, who is currently under attack on all fronts, and we've lost one. That's
Martinez
the 86.
Richter.
Yes, Martinez Richter spinning out the AM car, going off track, and now he watches the RO1 Porsche blast down. He has got Scanicchio on his outside. There's Laura van den Hengel as well. They both go past, and it looks like the Romanian outfit are going to come toe-to-toe with Scanicchio. Scanicchio taking the place and holds that advantage ahead of Laura van den Hengel and Florentin Cescu.
So what happened to Laura van den Hengel there? She just dropped 7 positions in one sector. So something happened there. Maybe contact with the 86. I didn't think they were that close together on the road.
Update from team managers as well for Fernando Navarrete to report to race control immediately. Hasn't yet given that place back yet.
Well, yeah, but it's his teammate he's trying to give the place back to. So this should be a simple phone call, really. And I'm sure they'll try and do it in when there's a position where he might not lose a place to Alex Ryman, potentially. So hey, we're going to see the start, and you just see Matteo Levisi getting absolutely gobbled up by not only a swarm of Ferrari, but also the two chasing Porsches as well. So not a good start there for Levisi at all. And then those are the two offending cars, and well, actually Stina's Longin took to the escape road as well. But he's sat there in 4th position at the moment, so let's see if he actually lost a place to Arturo, if he gained a spot on Arturo Melga there as well. But yeah, over the chicane, and then wow, oh God, quite a rough rejoin there. This is how Cabezas saw it. So let's see where Stina's Longin comes out in relation to, wow, oh, hey, Cabezas nearly getting squeezed out there by his teammate. I mean, Stina's Longin, I'd be surprised if Cabezas and Melga didn't immediately report that on the radio there as well, because he's also cut the chicane and come out in front of Cabezas. And then this is what we're going to see here. So
Martinius Richter.
I couldn't see the initial layer, but Laura van den Hengel's already hemorrhaging places there. So not sure what happened there. She's now down in 21st position. Oh, what a shame for the Dutch woman, because she had such a great qualifying, but at the moment has been rather swallowed up by the pack.
Yeah, tough start for Laura van den Hengel, moving in from kart straight up into the Porsche competition here in the GT Cup Open, and also now representing in a Ferrari as part of the Mertel Motorsport outfit, as we now watch more cars make their way through the double right-hander. Of course, at the wheel of this one, Matteo Levisi working hard. There is Laura van den Hengel. Yeah, it looks like they've stopped the car in the pit lane, so hardships by the looks of it for van den Hengel, a problem.
That's heartbreaking. That really is. Such a great qualifying for her. Meanwhile, Luca Ludwig has been let back into the lead by his teammates. So Fernando Navarrete, that is the AM leader in 2nd position. And they are well clear of their nearest rivals. And here's where it happened out of Virage Dupont. But Navarrete in a fine position here, because he's some 13 seconds ahead of his nearest class rival, Laurent van der Velde, in 11th position overall. And so now we have Navarrete 2nd, Ryman 3rd, Stina's Longin still in 4th, ahead of Melga and Levisi.
They're still ongoing with the investigation, though, for cutting turn 1 and gaining the advantage. So just because they've given the places back, they've still got to investigate it further.
That's Stina's Longin, who we were talking about when we were watching the replays, and also Zander Prisbalak is being looked at as well in the Q1 track racing Porsche that's currently 9th overall. And so there could also be a message saying they need to give up some spots there as well, or they may well take a penalty. So Ryman is done letting cars through, and now he's got to try and keep Stina's Longin at bay for what is currently the last spot on the podium as well, heading down the front straight.
And the gap starting to come out now a little bit more between Ludwig and Navarrete. 9/10 now, nearly a whole second. Ryman 1.2 back in 3rd place. Longin looking to get closer. Stina's Longin was very impressive back at Spa-Francorchamps. Actually recovered after spinning coming out of race 2 and did a great job of marshalling his charge, eventually gaining places back and challenging for those podium places, and would of course do that. Further back then, Melgar in 5th as now we watch as the number 11 belonging to Stina's Longin looks on the back of Alex Ryman. 2 Porsches now coming together as they look to come out of the double right-hander, venturing through turns 5 and turn 6, and now through turn 7 as well. And now this long trip down the Mistral, which will then tee up a run heading through the chicane at the midway point of the circuit. It's starting to just string out a little bit further back. We have got Matteo Levisi challenging Arturo Melgar. This is a fight here for 5th place. Levisi with a chance, but also in behind as well. We can't factor out Jorge Cabezas. Levisi braving it up the inside and has done so brilliantly. So Levisi now moves up ahead of Arturo Melgar, and Jorge Cabezas also fancies his chances. Ferrari and Ferrari banded together as they now come out of the second half of the Mistral straight, and indeed Jorge Cabezas moving on up. It's a double overtake, but it's double dismay by the looks of it for Arturo Melgar.
Yep, so down a couple of positions there for Arturo Melgar after what was very strong qualifying for the Spanish touring car convert. Heading through the final sector. Still got his teammate in sight there, though, but he's got the Rosso Corsa car just behind him. Oh, for how much longer? Because Zander Prisbalak fancies a run there for what is 8th position. And this is where the Porsche runs very strong in comparison to the Ferraris. The Porsche tends to make up more of its lap time against the Ferrari in this in the corners, and there you see the dive up the inside into Virage Dupont. Lovely move there from Zander Prisbalak in the Q1 Track Racing car, the Belgian driver who is one half of the reigning GT Cup Europe AM Championship lineup in the number 53. The other one is Laurent van der Velde in the 52 car, who is just a few cars behind him.
Yeah, also a GT Cup Open AM champion and overall runner-up from last season is Laurent van der Velde, as they now cruise through the Hotel Chicane. Bustle on outwards once again. It's been a tough visit for Arturo Melgar so far. Looking further up the field, he's now under pressure from Zander Prisbalak, and the Porsche fancying its chances coming out of turn 6. Maybe on turn 7, they might be able to get the run down the straight. The Ferrari can pack a punch in a straight line, so this will favour the challenge car as now they head down into the chicane once again. Alex Ryman in the EST1 Porsche, just ahead of Steeners Longin down in 4th spot. So we got to an occasion of 2 Porsches together now, with also further back Matteo Lovisi trying to make the time back that he lost earlier on, obviously just due to the fact that other cars had cut the necessary chicanes. It was all a bit chaotic. But as a consequence, race control stepping in. I know they've been speaking to Steeners Longin's team manager, obviously asking him to report to race control.
So Fernando Navarrete still hanging on to 2nd position, but Ryman and Longin have been closing in while Luca Ludwig stretches his advantage further on. You see that little green dot pulling away at 3.1 seconds just in front of them. That's the race leader. We're on board with the Estonian Alex Ryman in the EST1 Racing Porsche. In 3rd position, trying to chase down Navarrete, who is the AM leader as it stands. You can see closing right up. Unable to do that same move we saw Laurent van der Velde. It was Zander Prisbalak make a lap ago. As out wide there in the background was Arturo Melgar in the Mertel Ferrari, number 84 machine.
Steeners Longin coming through now the 1st sector. Let's watch this again. This is the move from Zander Prisbalak. No, I do apologise. It's not that one at all. It's the Lorenzo Innocenti move on Arturo Melgar in the 84.
Yeah, so this is what just happened.
Yeah, just sending it up the inside. So just running off wide as a consequence. And further back, Evgeny Leonov as well, waiting in the wings. There is, once again, Alex Ryman. It's getting very close now between Navarrete, Ryman and Longin. Very much the cork in the bottle, Navarrete, at this stage. He should be able to successfully drag onwards, though, given the fact that he does have Ferrari power coming down this long Mistral. 3 seconds of time penalty, though, going the way of Steeners Longin for gaining an advantage outside of the track, leading back to that one moment at the start of the race.
Yeah, so that's the car in 4th position at the moment, the Q1 Track Racing car. But Zander Prisbalak has been exonerated of any wrongdoing there. So just the 1 time penalty being given out for the car in 4th position. Provisionally, that would only drop him 1 spot, but we'll see how that affects them at the end of the race. To head up to Scene Corner, and still it is the Ferrari leading the 2 Porsches, or the 3 Porsches, in fact, because Matteo Lovisi is trying to close in on this and did the fastest lap of the race last time around. So he still has that raw speed in that GDL Porsche, does the Matteo Lovisi car. Ryman goes down the inside, tight line here. And he manages to find his way through on Navarrete and into 2nd position. That was a lovely move from the Estonian.
You got the feeling it was coming, and unfortunately for Navarrete, he's had to forego the place, and now he's going to be left for fodder for Steeners Longin in behind yet another Porsche on the attack in this 3rd sector, where this car is particularly very strong. And also coming into this, the 67 belonging to Matteo Lovisi. looking to contend for this season's title as they now rush down through towards turn one. Ryman now, as the transponder updates, moves up into second. Navarrete now down to third, at the mercy of those behind, and he's got two Porsches licking their lips at the prospect of perhaps even challenging, heading down into the La Hotel Bend, and that will be a prime spot for this Porsche to escalate their situation. Stina's Longin, who isn't afraid of such things. Let's take a look at the moment again. Alex Ryman with a fantastic move coming through the final sector.
As we saw it from on board, and this is how he did it. Just that nice tight line into turn 12. Bendor, or the Virage Bendor, I should call it. And that leaves the Porsche up into second position. And we say this is where the Porsche makes up most of its time. It means they have to get a little bit inventive, really, with the overtaking, because the Ferrari's got so much power. They can't try and do an out-braking maneuver into the chicane, really, because they can't get close enough. That was too close, though, for Lorenzo Innocenti, and that is a spin down at the hotel corner. That car was running well inside the top 10. I think it was 8th position. It was in just a couple of laps ago, and now that car is... Where is it? I can't even find it on the timing order at the moment. Down in 16th place. There it is. So that is a very costly bit of contact there for Lorenzo Innocenti.
Yeah, not ideal at all, and certainly not fond memories that they had, obviously, prior to this very weekend. It doesn't obviously add to those fine memories, as now we take a look at Matteo Lovisi up the inside as he now looks to try and move past Stina's Longin, gets the move done, and also an error for Navarrete as well. As a consequence, offers an opportunity as well back to Stina's Longin. Matteo Lovisi getting closer and closer now to the back of Navarrete, and has got that favourable line. Same corner as where Navarrete made the error last time to open the door for Alex Ryman. It's now providing an opportunity here for Lovisi, who's looking to escalate his cause up into fourth. Let's wait and see it. Look at it, wheel to wheel again. Lovisi at the inside, coming through Pont, and he's managed to brush past Fernando Navarrete. He moves up to third, and Stina's Longin is going to look to join him as well. Wheel to wheel between the Porsche and the Ferrari. Is Navarrete going to give it up? Can he lay claim to it? Can he hold on to it? He can't. It's Stina's Longin who now removes Navarrete from that position in P4, and now moves on up Navarrete down to fifth.
Great few corners there for Matteo Lovisi, getting himself up into third position, undoing some of the damage that was done at the start, and Navarrete becoming a little unstuck. But do you know what? It's not really his fight. His focus is going to be on where Laurent van der Velde is when they come into pit lane, and he still leads that class by some 14 seconds, putting himself in a very fine position indeed. So all he's got to do really is keep his nose clean. Here we're going to see it again.
Yeah, fantastic effort it was indeed. Very committed from Matteo Lovisi. Had to be as well. Up the inside, brushed past Navarrete with ease. Now opened the door as well for Stina's Longin to move and go wheel to wheel down in towards turn one, which she eventually did manage to successfully take that fourth place with. But yeah, here's the moment. Once again, this is Stina's Longin getting the run out of Pont Corner and down towards turn one. Again, we take a look at it from the broadcast camera view. And there you see it. Smoothly does it. Matteo Lovisi, he's up to third.
And that Longin up to fourth as a result as well. See, there's about 6.8 seconds back to Zander Prispolak. There he is, just behind them. As Luka Ludwig just on the fastest lap of the race last time around. 2:08.7. His gap now 6.1 seconds over Alex Ryman in second place, and Lovisi now 2.5 seconds back from them. And now it's spin here for the...
yeah, it's currently sat in 18th. Actually just getting undone coming through the Mistral chicane. Not ideal at all. And
yeah, Javier Ripoll Jr. there. That's the entry that is combined with the City Marine Motorsports team as well, who've been supporting the Venezuelan in Porsche Carrera Cup North America as well. But yeah, a moment there at the chicane. Still running in 18th position though. So we see Lovisi second in the championship, trying to close in on Alex Ryman, and last time around was quicker. Fastest in the final sector last time around was Levisi. So definitely still has the raw pace. He's brought that gap down to 1.9 seconds now, has the Italian. And chasing after second place. Let's see if we can do anything about Ludwig as well. Of course, the interesting thing about the battle now is that Alex Ryman has to take 10 seconds of handicap for being a solo driver, whereas Matteo Levisi is going to be handing over to his pro in the second part of the race, because Levisi is technically the bronze driver, I believe, in that car, whereas Luka Ludwig is the pro, and so he's going to be handing over to his gentleman driver Ivan Velasco in the second half of this race,
which puts Federico Arafai in a very strong position when he takes over the wheel later on.
And they both have 10 seconds of handicap because they both won the last 4 races.
Yeah, absolutely right. So, you know, there's an opportunity here, immense opportunity for Levisi and Arafai later on, should this all unfold. And obviously, remember, Stina's long in, despite obviously him being in a reasonable position. He does, of course, have a penalty against his name, as we now watch Ludwig come out to the final corner at Pont, and will now usher his way down the straight. 30 minutes and 37 to go. The driver change period opens up now in 1 minute and 30's time. So it won't be long, and a flash of the lights here from Ludwig as he now rushes down through towards turn 1, just letting the back markers know that he's coming through and to give way to any track place.
6.7 seconds now, Ludwig's advantage. Wait for it, wait for it. There's the ST1 Porsche being hounded by the GDL car. So EST1 big presence in Carrera Cup Benelux as well, but also here in GT Cup, as does GDL over many, many years. And also the car we're on board with now, Q1 Track Racing, the reigning team's champions, of course. And
dominant force as well in this championship in the history. Of course, he had Jan Larison back in 2022, who was actually one of the most exceptional talents we have had on the grid. Of course, not quite the same wins record as Aldo Festanti, but put in a good shift, managed to amass 7 wins through that season. Of course, looking back, last campaign, Jorge Cabezas ushering a Ferrari to the top of the championship. But Q1 Track Racing have championed Porsche immensely here in the GT Cup Open, and they're always competitive. And once again, you know, we're witnessing other Porsche teams come through, like GDL, with, of course, Matteo Levisi and Federico Arafai.
It's such a tight fight between them as we see the Florentin Cescu Porsche coming up against the Nicolas van Dierendonk. As the driver change window is now open, but yeah, it's such a tight fight between those 3 teams. I mean, Q1 Track Racing, Lurto Motorsport and GDL separated by only 3 points in the championship, the team's championship at the moment. So that is a fight we look forward to continue seeing on throughout the rest of the season. So driver change window is now open. Expect to see a few cars come in at the end of this lap, I would say. So we can see the progression there. It's been a great first stint for Alex Ryman, up 4 positions, as has been for Laurent van der Velde. He's also made up 4 as well. Not so much for Lorenzo Innocente, down 8 compared to where he's in. And in comes Alex Ryman.
Yeah, Alex Ryman
getting the stop in out of the way.
Yeah, coming in very early. Obviously, as soon as the driver change window opens, 7 minutes to go until it comes to an end. So Alex Ryman just getting his one and done. Obviously, he'll remain in the car. No need to change his driver right now. Of course, Ludwig, I'd expect him to do the stint as long as possible. The 43 Porsche now also coming in, and that's Laurent van der Velde as well coming in, and that's the 52. We also have Leandro Martins coming in, and Lorenzo Innocenti. We've got Davide Scanaccio, no question. Fabio Babini taking over that one, and Richter also coming in as well alike. Nicolo Schiro will now take the helm in Lorenzo Innocenti's Ferrari.
Yep, Nico Schiro getting on board, as will be Fabio Babini in the Tsunami number 78.
Serial winner he is as well.
Yes, that car should move forward at a rapid rate. Obviously the driver change at Q1, so the 52, which was Laurent van der Velde there. It's Nathan Brawns, the former VW Fun Cup racer who's just climbed on board and actually fighting for the AM Championship, that pairing with their teammates Bogdan Dumas, Nicolo van Durendonk, and then also the RICARD pairing of Dieter Streps and Leandro Martins, who have been fairly anonymous so far this weekend, but it's Dieter Streps who's just climbed on board that car. In fact, there he is on the left-hand side. We see the 83, that's the car that was in earlier on, the Laura van den Hengel car that was out. Oh no, Arturo Melga's car has conked out. That's the second race in a row for that car. After what was another fantastic qualifying performance, the 84 has once again parked up with a problem.
Yeah, not ideal at all for Arturo Melgar, and of course Stefano Bozzoni, who is due to take the helm on that one. Of course, they were punished at the very start. We're in the midst of a dogged fight on the opening lap, and has since seen itself drop down the field, and it looks like there are some further more sinister issues on board that Ferrari, as now more cars come in the pits.
Lavisi's in. So Federico Al-Rafai climbing on board the GDL Porsche. Also coming in, Evgeny Leonov there, and the number 53 Q1 track racing Porsche as well. So Zander Prizbalak coming into the pits, and also teammate 57, Nico van Dierendonk. So Luca Ludwig will stretch this out for as long as he can. 4.5 minutes left on the driver change window. Bogdan Dumas getting on board there, and the 79 Tsunami car. Johannes Zelga, another solo driver. No need to take handicap though, because it's only the Pro-Am entries that are with singular drivers that have to take handicap, because effectively that's an all-pro lineup if you think about it, and so that's why they take handicap in the races, regardless of their previous results. You can see Ivan Velasco there just getting ready on the left-hand side as Annie Frozio gets herself aboard the number 85 machine. Federico out ahead of Alex Ryman. Yeah, and basically that's the effect of the. Actually, it can't just be the handicap actually, because they both had 10 seconds, and so I think that's just a great in-lap from Matteo Lavisi, because he's managed to jump Ryman.
Got the overcut on board, a massive run from Matteo Lavisi, obviously making the most of whatever clear air he would have had, and has managed to overtake Alex Ryman through the course of the driver change period. So here we go. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean though that Alex Ryman is going to let him go without a fight. Out comes the 80 Porsche, or in it comes, I should say. Luca Ludwig is going to be stepping out. In comes Ivan Velasco. So as we now watch the driver change unfold, serving obviously that pit stop now, Ivan Velasco will hop straight in as they go to work. In comes Stinas Long in as well. So that'll be another change that they bring about for the number 11 Porsche. Nicholas Salins is going to step up now as we watch Alex Ryman getting closer and closer to the back of Federico Al-Rafai. And we saw a little bit of a threat coming in towards the, coming into the latter stages of the first sector, and around the outside, Alex Ryman's going to go. Federico Al-Rafai has got to try and meet him around every corner, but the two Porsches tying up as they come through Bousset. Another look from Ryman, the Estonian, favouring a longer route as they head through now into the Sector 3 proper on this Paul Ricard circuit. Still Federico Al-Rafai defending immensely strongly. The Saudi F4 champion doing a terrific job, just evading Alex Ryman at every turn.
Watch him seesawing at the wheel of that EST1 Racing Porsche. Great stuff as Federico Al-Rafai tries to keep the Estonian at bay. But this is going to be the important bit here. Where is Ivan Velasco going to emerge in relation to these two? Well, he's lost position to Nicholas Salins in the Q1 Track Racing Porsche, but they're still well clear of Federico Al-Rafai and Alex Ryman as well. And so that should put Nicholas Salins into the net lead of the race when Fernando Navarrete comes in at the end of this lap, which he'll have to do because there's only a minute and a half left on the driver change window. Yeah,
absolutely. He'll be coming straight into the pits as we now ride back on board with Alex Ryman once again still giving chase after Federico Al-Rafai for the fourth place on track. Of course, remember, we're still waiting for Navarrete to come straight back in, so this will convert later on when Navarrete comes into the pits, with Al Rifai moving up to third and Ryman up to fourth as they now hustle through turn 7 and then down the straight, leading through towards the Mistral chicane. There is, of course, Nicholas Salins, with just behind him Ivan Velasco, swapping in for the after the stint was concluded for Luka Ludwig, coming through the Mistral chicane once again, looking pretty tidy here. Nicholas Salins. Ivan Velasco, though, a reigning champion, after partnering up with Jorge Cabezas. Still nose to tail between Ryman and Federico Al Rifai, and this could be something that goes on and on through the course of the race. In a little moment for Evgeny Leonov, who just gets himself slightly tongue-tied coming through the Mistral chicane.
And between Al Rifai and Ryman, that should be for the last spot on the podium when Alvaro Libera emerges, and that car is in pit lane.
Yeah,
at the moment.
Just come in now.
Yep, and then this will be for the lead of the race. So Nicholas Salins there in the Q1 Track Racing Porsche, the GT2 convert, alongside Stinas Longin. And he is the bronze driver in that pairing, as is Ivan Velasco. So we'll see where these two end up. We know that Velasco has been one of the fastest bronze drivers in the field, and the Ferrari has been performing exceptionally well so far this weekend, but that is a well-prepared car from Q1 Track Racing. Got reigning teams champions and teams championship leaders. As that looks like day done for 83, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sadly, Alba Vasquez did get a few laps in the car, but out went Alvaro Libera there in 81, having just been taken over by Fernando Navarrete. Disappointing day for the 83 once again, but now this is for the lead of the race. 0.4 of a second separate Porsche and Ferrari. Not the Porsche we thought was going to be challenging this car earlier on, as Al Rifai and Ryman now 9.4 seconds behind the top two. But this is the fight. Stinas Longin, he's going to have a tough job here keeping Ferrari power at bay down the Mistral.
Oh dear, Babini just running off a little wide, coming through. I'm wondering if there's debris on the front left.
No, there's that fluid coming out of the front left. Oh, well, this is for the lead of the race as Ivan Velasco tries to get up the inside into the Mistral chicane, utilising that Ferrari power down the straight, but couldn't quite outbrake the Porsche by the time it got to the braking zone. This will be another run up here. There has been a headwind down this straight for most of the day. And that doesn't seem to be affecting them too badly, as we see. Yep, it's been contact on the front left side there, you see, of the Tsunami car. Once again, we go back to the lead battle. Velasco, the tighter line here, tends to work very well if you're the attacking car. And Ivan Velasco does take the lead of the race away from Nicholas Salins. But this is the part of the track where the Porsche is very, very strong. He'll have something to say about it, but Velasco defends it brilliantly.
Yeah, he certainly does. Manages to close off the inside just to prevent Nicholas Salins from making a move, but I'm sure Salins will be back. They've still got 2 corners to come through Delator. They will go and then a trip through to Pont Corner, the final bend here on this particular lap. Still 18 minutes and 30 still to go, but this could rumble on for a long, long time as they come out of the final bend now to begin yet another lap. As I said, 18:30 still to go. Salins now down to second. Let's watch this again. Through Bousset they went. Of course, it looked like at this stage that Salins managed to negate the attack, but as the corner brewed onwards, it opened the door for Ivan Velasco, who took full advantage. A fantastic overtake, and now prolongs clear from the Porsche. But can Salins get him back?
Well, Federico Al Rifai is also closing in on them at a vast rate of knots. That gap was 9.4 seconds. It's now 5.4 seconds. And he's done the fastest lap of the race there to boot as well, 2:08.462. So Al Rifai is flying out there at the moment. It won't be long before he's on the back of Salins.
No, he's already, look at it now, 4.3. It was in the 5s only a lap or so ago. 1.3 still, though, between Salins and Velasco. That gap, I'm sure, will come down at some point as we now watch on as the 52 Porsche makes its way around. Q1 Track Racing, Lauren van der Velde and Nathan Braun.
This is for the lead in AM. Oh, there's debris there. I wonder why there was a yellow flag there. There's a bit of debris in the middle of the road. But this is first, second and third in AM, still being led by Alvaro Libera. And I think this is Dieter Schweppes making his way past Nathan Braun's there. The RICARD going past the Q1 Porsche. Remember, that 911 car took an overall win at the opening meeting in Portimao. It's a very rapid pairing, and he's now set his sights on Alvaro Libera in the lead of his class. Currently, it is 1.6 seconds.
Yeah. Eugene Lilianov also in 6th as well, just splitting the difference between Lars Zanen and Alvaro Libera, but Libera still with that AM lead, and that's what's important as far as Libera is concerned. That's the class he is fighting in. But just look at this, the 911 Porsche getting closer. Dieter Schweppes, who is an amassed talent when it comes to getting behind the wheel of these Porsche machinery, as they come into Sector 3, and then through Garlaban they will go. Back on the power again. Still at the front, though, Ivan Velasco with Nicholas Salins just watching on in the wings. But look at how close Schweppes is getting. He's broken 2 within a second. And now as the AM battle rumbles onwards, a little bit of contact between Libera and also, by the looks of it, as they make their way through the final corner, opportunities here for Dieter Schweppes as they head out of the final bend.
I think he got away with it, George. They're just... if there was a nose camera on there, it would be a great shot, and it might have been flicked off. That's how close they got, but I think they just about got away with it, as that's the top 3 in AM, separated by less than a second as it stands. But Libera hanging on for now, but Schweppes has proven to be the faster driver of the 2 RICARD cars. So it's going to be a very tough job keeping him at bay by the time they get out of the Mistral. But look at it, he's already lining him up into turn 5, lit up those rear Michelin tyres to get it done. And now on the inside at turn 6. That's the AM lead for Dieter Schweppes now. And he's run over the debris that was there. There was yellow flags there last time around, and well, he's cleared it out the way, so long as he hasn't damaged his own car in the process as well. Now, sure, he'll be watching the mirrors down here. The Ferrari power is ferocious, and Alvaro Libera will be trying to find his way back through. He's got no answer for Dieter Schweppes. And he will now pull away, I imagine. Yeah,
Schweppes looking really strong, managing to keep Libera at bay. They came very close together, but this opens the door for Nathan Braun as well, who comes in and potentially opens an opportunity for him to take the helm in a AM championship level fight, as now they come through into the scene corner. Coming through turn 10 very shortly, and further up as well, we've still got Velasco out in front. That gap is now extended to 2.1 between he and Nicholas Salins. RFI 1.2, but it's all about this AM fight that we're currently watching, and the gap between Schweppes and Libera advancing still very nearly a whole second. Opens the door here for Braun, so I'm sure it won't be too long before he starts attacking. But look at this, RFI and Nicholas Salins now grouped together. That 1.2 second gap has now plummeted.
How important were those first few laps when RFI came out of the pits and Ryman had the speed and Federico was getting himself up to speed, maybe bringing the tyres up to temperature or something? I'm not sure why it took a couple of laps for that car to get going, but how important was it? Because he's now 3 seconds...
becomes 0.3 of a second, which is unbelievable.
He's 3 seconds ahead of Ryman now, and had he lost position there, that would have totally changed the nature of this race. But he's now on the back of Salins for second position. The top 3 now only covered by 2.2 seconds. This should be the relatively easier pass for RFI, as he does what Schweppes does, but is he going to get into the side of him? Yes, he does. He spins the Q1 Track Racing Porsche around, and that is... well, that's a bit of a disaster, really, for RFI, because he may now be slapped with a penalty.
They came too close, coming into the double right-handers out of turn 5 in towards turn 6. Let's look at it again. Stina's Longin, who eventually swapped over for Nicholas Salins.
That's a short debate, I'm afraid.
Off. Yeah, I hate to say it. Wow.
It looks very different from that angle, I will say. The rear-facing angle that we saw a moment ago is a bit more incriminating, I would say. But let's see what the stewards say. And he's trying to give the place back, look, or has he got damage maybe? He went wide out onto the Mistral.
Well, Alex Ryman is now back up to second, RFI down to third. The issue is, though, is that the battle was with Nicholas Salins, so obviously that's going to be the ongoing concern.
I don't. That might have knocked something out of alignment. Let's see what he does here. I don't know if he's just going slowly because he's got damage, or if he's trying to give a place back to Salins and maybe avoid a penalty for that. But talk about defining moments in the championship. This suddenly went from a race that GDL car should be winning to now one where
Velasco's in prime position.
In fact, they might not even be on the podium.
Alex Ryman at the moment certainly displaying the pace that he does need, though it is fairly equal between he and Velasco. But RFI now faces the consequence after the collision with Nicholas Salins, with 8 seconds being applied to Nicholas Salins' race time.
So that's the second time penalty for that car, because it picked up 3 seconds for cutting turn 2 on the opening lap. So that's now 11 seconds that car's going to have to take. So suddenly, maybe Lars Zanen is going to end up on the overall podium here. And that incident, unsurprisingly, is under investigation. And definitely the GDL car has got damage. He's not just trying to let Salins back through, because now he's lost position to Lars Zanen. That car is limping home now, and this is a massively missed opportunity for Federico RFI.
Yeah, well, they came into this weekend with just 1 point separating them in the championship. The way it stacks up, Ivan Velasco, current race leader with Luka Ludwig, obviously, that gap now is going to extend outwards beyond that one solitary point. This could be a key weekend in terms of how the championship is going to unfold. And just look at this, easy as you like. The 53 moves on through of Lars Zanen. Federico RFI, clear issues, I think, in the helm of that Porsche. The incident between the cars 67 and 11 apparently will be investigated after the race.
So, Lars Zanen in the 53 Q1 track racing car, now on course for a podium, because even if he stays there in 4th, Salen's got 11 seconds worth of penalties, as that's a spin for Camel Perrion out of what looks like turn 2. A beautiful, it's going to be a 360 in the end. He gets it pointing in the right direction eventually. That car currently in 17th position as race leader Ivan Velasco rounds up some of the lap traffic. Just seeing whether 53's been on the podium before this season. It has, actually, last time out at Spa, so they'll be on for their second podium of the season.
Yeah, fantastic for Lars Zanen and Zander Prisbalak as well. So we right on board with Alex Ryman.
I'll tell you who hasn't been on the podium, actually, this man.
Well,
Alex Ryman, he's now on course for his first podium of the season.
Yeah, and someone who has actually been successful in the past where it comes to the racing in the GT Cup Open Europe. Raced in it last season. As we now take a look, now this is the moment again with the spin.
That's another spin.
Of the R01 Porsche. Another spin, unfortunately, for the combination of Camel Perrion and Florentin Sescu. Of course, Perrion now in the car. As we now watch the action unfold again, this time further up. This is Lars Zanen and Nicholas Salins now coming together. Now, this is a fight for P3, and if Zanen does move up this spot this time, that will equal his best performance this season, obviously, as we said, back at Spa last time out.
But Salins has got 11 seconds worth of penalties. I'm sure the Q1 team will be telling him that, so he doesn't need to fight too hard with his teammate, really.
As we now watch the 53 make its way down to the Mistral chicane, still Nicholas Salins adopting that 3rd place, but for how much longer? Because Lars Zanen is looking more proactive there in 4th place. There's Ivan Velasco with a 4.5 second advantage ahead of Alex Ryman, who's down in 2nd. 5.8 seconds then separating 2nd and 3rd, with Salins still holding on to it, but again, Zanen closing up with an 11-second gap between Leonov and Zanen down in 5th as they now cruise through the Bousset and in towards the final stages on this very lap. 8 minutes still to go. Running out wide a little bit, Nicholas Salins. Is he under pressure, I think, as now that invites Lars Zanen to potentially land a blow, land an attack upon Nicholas Salins. That gap now started to come down even more so. It was 7 tenths before, it's 4 tenths now. And there might be a chance heading through towards Delatour, leading into the Pont corner with lap traffic in front of them as well. And that can open up an inviting opportunity for Lars Zane as they come through in towards pond corner this time. Look at this. Goodness me. And I think I would usher a guess in saying that it was a better run this time for Lars Zane. Question is, will he get some momentum prior to entering turn one? The two Porsches come together once again. Number 11 of Nicolas Salen's now in jeopardy. A look down the inside. No move here for Zanen, who has to remain in fourth.
Federico Arafai into pit lane. It will be no points for the car that is second in the championship, and one of only two cars, his championship rival being the other one, that has scored points in every race so far this season. This is a very important day in terms of the championship. But back to the fight for third. I am a little surprised that Q1 haven't just gotten on the radio to both of them and say, boys, don't bother fighting. Our best bet here is for you to keep pushing, because right now Salen's would still finish in fourth position with his penalties. Although, well, I'm sure they're worried about Dieter Sveps here, actually, who's in fifth
just got past
position. Yeah, exactly. But still, they'll come away with a podium here regardless, unless these two run into each other. And looked like something was flapping on the front right there of Salen's car. But all looks well now, but yeah, that's the AM leader. Dieter Sveps moved ahead of Evgeny Leonov and into fifth position. So put a car between himself and his nearest class rival, Nathan Braun, who has got himself up to second in class ahead of Alvaro Labera.
Yeah. Sailors taking that tighter line at the inside, and that allows Zanen to get a little closer towards the latter stages of the corner now. And the two Porsches once again, this time wheel to wheel. A little uncomfortable run there from Nicolas Salen's, once again being challenged in the final sector on this lap, much like it was on the previous lap, though. Can a better run through Delator open the door for Lars Zanen?
Wow.
It does, almost with ease. I must say, he's been knocking at the door, chopping at that wood. He finally found a way through. Lars Zanen now up to third place.
Yeah, not sure if that was just letting Lars through there, or if he just got a really bad run out of turn 12. That's Federico out of the car. At one moment, it could be a massive U-turn in the championship. Of course, that's the first of their drop scores, though, so it is somewhat forgiving. But
they only want one.
Yeah, but well, he might take a grid drop instead. If he doesn't, because he's not finishing this race, so he might end up with a grid drop. As that little bang there between Jim McCallion and Dieter Sveps as he was rounding up the GDL car. Certainly looked close.
Yeah, very tight. But, as we now watch the Rosso Corsa Ferrari of Nicolo Schiro now chasing after Evgeny Leonov. They've got lap traffic in between them, and that could prove to be a complication for Schiro, but manages to get past. It was a bit harum-scarum coming through. Nathan Braun's also following him through as well, as Leonov now comes through turn 7 and then down the Mistral straight. This is the moment again where, of course, the move was made by Lars Zanen up to third, and as smooth as you like.
I think he's let him through. He pulled off to the left, and suddenly he went through. So I think he's been told there, stop fighting with your teammate. Leonov getting deep into the chicane there, and that's put Nico Schiro all onto the back of the Porsche. This is for 6th position. This is Indrik Jaska in 77. That's not the way the track goes. I don't think I've ever seen that bit of runoff.
Not at all. There we have, once again, the two coming together. This is, of course, the Rosso Corsa Ferrari of Nicolo Schiro brushing past Evgeny Leonov, moving up into 6th place. And Nathan Bronsby hoping he can do exactly the same as well. Schiro running a little wide coming out of Bousset. But a great run indeed for Rosso Corsa. With Schiro behind the wheel, vastly experienced. Of course, a former Euro Formula Open competitor as well. Down the inside of Evgeny Leonov, coming into scene. And a great move indeed on part of Schiro.
Yeah, so up to 6th position now. I mean, a wonderful recovery. Lorenzo Decenti spun that car earlier in the race at the Hotel Chicane. And up into 6th position. And now only 3 seconds behind Dieter Sveps. Of course, you wonder what could have been without that spin. Potential podium contender, of course, but nonetheless, still decent result there, all things considered. League gap still hovering around 3.4 seconds between Ivan Velasco and this man, Alex Ryman. So just rounding up Annie Frozio in 85. 2.5 minutes left on the clock, so maybe 2 laps to go.
Looks like there's one light out as well on Annie Frozio's car. Kicking up a little bit of something further back, but allowing Ryman on through. There's Lars Zanen, who's managed to stretch his gap between he and Nicholas Salins out to 1.3 seconds. So a decent display here for Zanen so far, as he looks to push through. A warning as well for car 53 for track limits at turn 7 and turn 10 as well, which is, in fact, Lars Zanen. Yeah,
so he's got to be careful over these last few laps not to pick up another one, or he'll get a penalty himself.
There's Evgeny Leonov again, Nathan Braun's all on his rear. So we saw earlier on Leonov lose out to Nicolo Schiro not too long ago. Nathan Braun's now with a great chance to alleviate Leonov in his own right and move up into 7th place. Up from 8th, and obviously that would, despite still holding on to 2nd in AM, doesn't change anything in terms of the AM classification, but still feather in the cap for Nathan Braun if he can move up to 7th place on track as they head in towards Busset once again and getting that tighter line through as well. Evgeny Leonov just running out a little bit wide, but does still retain the place, so doesn't lose out in totality. Looked like he was at risk though, however, as they now hurtle on through the midway point of the 3rd sector. Nathan Braun just swapping all over the back of Evgeny Leonov, looking for that access route, coming through Delatour and then very shortly through Pont. Would he try something up the inside, heading into the final bend? Velasco now as they undertake the final lap of the race. Still got Alex Ryman in 2nd, but no move or no change between these two in the final sector. It's still at this stage Braun's waiting in the wings behind Leonov.
Of course, that's an AM car versus a Pro-Am car for 7th position. He's just got to hang on for one more lap as Evgeny Leonov. We've got yellow flags out at turns 11 and 12, so that's Le Bousset into Virage Bendour. So, I wonder what's happened down there. It should only affect this lap, of course. See, Braun's in his first season of GT Cup competition, only his 3rd year of racing for the Belgian. Fighting away with Evgeny Leonov here, but here's our race leader. 3 seconds to the good ahead of Alex Ryman. He's coming into that yellow flag zone now. Here's our race leader. But we were talking about the fight it was going to be with GDL. And by just running smoothly and cleanly and trouble-free, these guys have gotten the job done. On course now for their 3rd win of the season. Yeah,
certainly is. They went back-to-back from race 2 at Hockenheim into race 1 at Spa. The opening stint delivered by Luca Ludwig sets up the cause for Ivan Velasco to then bring it home as they come through the Pont corner for the final time. Alex Ryman not close enough. It's going to be another success for Mertel Motorsport Ferrari. Ivan Velasco crosses the line and takes victory in the GT Cup Open Europe Paul Ricard Race 1. What an exceptional performance from Ivan Velasco and Luca Ludwig. Alex Ryman coming across the line in 2nd. Lars Zanen will take 3rd place with Nicholas Salins down in 4th. We have got this brewing as well between the car of Evgeny Leonov and Nathan Braun. Across the line goes Dieter Schweppes as well for that P6 spot. Leonov at the very late stage being challenged by Braun. It's not enough for Braun though, however. Leonov will take 7th. Braun in AM P2, 8th overall. And Libera looking to come across the line in 9th with Zelga in 10th. But it's a win for Ivan Velasco and Luca Ludwig. Top of the championship. It looks solidified after what happened with Federico Al-Rafai and Matteo Lovisi. Advantage Ferrari.
Certainly is. We'll take a big chunk ahead in the championship with that one. Nicolas Salins 5th in the end. As we see, this was a moment with the RICARD right at the end of the race with Shiro getting past right at the end of that race, but still the AM win for Dieter Sveps in the RICARD Porsche, just behind Nicolas Ehlens in the end after that 11 seconds of penalty. And the RICARD's pulled up at the end of pit lane. Not enough. I wonder if that's not enough juice in it to get it back. Same for Martinus Richter there, actually.
Yeah, he's pulled over to the inside, just tucked it into the inside of the pit escape. So that's a very strange scenario of sorts, but certainly nothing that will harm in the mind's eye of Ivan Velasco, the overall winner of this very first Paul Ricard race of the weekend. Of course, they got another one coming up tomorrow to go back-to-back. We'll put them in a very comfortable position in the championship. Let's take you through the results. Ivan Velasco, Luca Ludwig, they are your race winners for Mertel Motorsport Ferrari. Alex Ryman in second. For the Estonian, we have got Prisbalak and Zanen in third, Innocenti, Shiro fourth, Longin and Salens fifth, Martins and Schweppes in sixth, Evgeny Leonov seventh with Van der Velde and Braun's in eighth place, Navarrete and Libera in ninth, Johannes Zelger in 10th place. Further down in 11th, we have Bogdan Duma, 12th place going to Ian Rodriguez as well. Martinius Richter, who we just saw pulled over to the side, 13th, 14th for Javier Ripoll Jr., 15th place for Mark Speaker-Vos, as well as Indrek Jaska finishing in 16th, Camel Perry and Florentin Sescu 17th, Annie Frozio, Jorge Cabezas 18th, Jim McCalin in 19th, Al Rafai, as well as Matteo Levisi was out as well, Scaniccio Babini out, Vanden Hengel Vasquez out, we lost Melgar and Bazzoni, Philip Wills and Jahid Faisal Karim and Pascal Bachmann. So there we have it, folks, the results after what was a tremendous battle for Ivan Velasco and obviously Luca Ludwig. Luca Ludwig, though, getting a lovely start immediately, which gave them a comfortable margin. And I'm sure this will serve them well going forward into the second half of the championship, as we are now in right now. Only 2 more rounds to go after this one, with trips to Barcelona and Monza still to come. But entering Parc Ferme as they get ushered in alike. Plenty of members of the Mertel team standing by to celebrate with Ivan Velasco and his teammate Luca Ludwig. No doubt there's going to be delight. Thumbs up from Ivan Velasco, and credit to Luca Ludwig as well, because that first stint was key.
It certainly was, pulling the advantage that Velasco needed, especially considering they had the 10 seconds of handicap as well to take. They came out well clear of the chasing pack and made sure that the GDL cars had too much work to do, and it did prove to be too much work to do because they came unstuck.
Certainly did. I'm Velasco with helmet off now, gloves off too. The heat can be a little overbearing out there, but he managed it exceptionally well. And a little bit of pressure earlier on from, obviously impending from Alex Ryman, but very soon that was battered away. Let's take you through the top 3. Lars Zanen finishing in 3rd place here in the GT Cup Open Paul Ricard round race 1. Then of course we had Alex Ryman finishing in 2nd place for EST1 Porsche, with Ivan Velasco managing to head him off though, holding on to the lead, and would eventually take victory. And they're now standing by with Alfredo Filipponi.
Ivan.
Standing by, folks. They'll be with us very shortly. Ivan Velasco and Luca Ludwig obviously just awaiting to be sent across to the interview section. But we'll join them now.
Another victory for Ivan Velasco and Luca Ludwig. We have Ivan now. And Ivan in Spanish, of course. A lot of good weather, but good race too.
Bueno,
Calor y...
muchísimo calor, un fin de semana muy duro. Ayer estuve malísimo vomitando, no pude rodar nada más que 3 vueltas en pista. Y la verdad que hoy es una satisfacción por 500 del poder haber ganado con el estado que estábamos. Sobre todo agradecer a mi equipo la superpuesta a punto del coche y a mi compañero por el gran trabajo.
Yeah, he was saying very hot. He was not feeling well yesterday, but today everything went all right thanks to the team and thanks to the teammate Luka Ludwig, who is now here with us. Luka, tough day though.
Yeah, tough day, but a very important victory for us today. So very, very happy for the whole team, and now we are leading with a comfortable margin in the championship, and hopefully we have another good result tomorrow, and then maybe we have a chance to win the championship. What is our target?
Well done, guys. Enjoy the moment.
Championship very much inbound. Let's see how they did it. It was a very good getaway for Luka Ludwig, getting the best jump of all. Navarrete formed up in behind, looked like he was going to run wheel to wheel against his Mertel Motorsport counterpart, but unfortunately would venture off track at the very start of the race. Wasn't alone, however. There were, of course, a sea of cars that would plummet their way through, Alex Ryman being one of them alike, but eventually, after being asked to give the place back, Luka Ludwig would indeed take it, and throughout the entirety of the opening stint would do well to hold on to it too, teeing up a perfect run then for his counterpart Ivan Velasco. It all happened as well coming through the final corners. Of course, we saw the GDL Porsche of Matteo Lovisi and Federico El Rafai going to work in the early stages to just reduce any form of deficit. Eventually, as the driver change window period opened, Ivan Velasco would take the hot seat in the Mertel Motorsport Ferrari car. Stinas Long in the number 11 Porsche with Nicolas Salins would also be under fire as well from Ivan Velasco coming in towards the second stint of the race. We would eventually see as well, unfortunately for Nicolas Salins, a collision that would occur, of course, between he and the GDL Racing Porsche, with obviously behind the wheel we saw Matteo Lovisi earlier on, of course Federico El Rafai for the second stint. We would then see as well a battle between Nicolo Schiro, Nicolas Salins. Of course, Ivan Velasco was unperturbed by all the action going on further back. He was clear up at the front. Alex Ryman could not close quite quick enough and took the checkered flag. Brilliant victory for Ivan Velasco. Mario Grumt as well, who was obviously understandably delighted at the prospects of Mertel perhaps being crowned champions once again this season, Chris.
Yeah, of course, his reigning drivers' champions in two separate cars at the moment. But it's looking very good now for Luka Ludwig and Ivan Velasco. And so that's Q1 track racing on the podium, the second podium we were saying, wasn't it, for Lars Zeinen and Xander Prisbalak. So back-to-back podium finishes for them, but for Alex Ryman, first podium appearance of the season, which is surprising to say.
It is. I mean, a driver that carries a lot of pace. We saw him in action last season, and he was stupendous then. But you know, no question that we'll see more from Alex Ryman in the near future. Top step though inbound for Luka Ludwig and Ivan Velasco. Race victors. They took their first race win back at race 2 at Hockenheimring, followed it up at Spa in race 1. Tremendous performance on part of them. Mario Grumt now moves up to the podium to join his Mertel drivers. Another fantastic performance for them. But as Luka Ludwig said, they're still going to work hard, but the championship very much in sight, and that is their 5th podium finish of the season. The national anthem rings out for Mertel and also for Ivan Velasco and also Luka Ludwig alike. A massive result as far as they're concerned. And of course, not forgetting trophy presentations here. This time, Michelin representatives coming forward, presenting the third place trophy to Lars Zanen and Xander Prisbalak. Back on the podium again, back-to-back since Spa at race 2. And this will be a trend I'm sure that they'll both be looking to continue. Alex Ryman, second place. He'll be looking for that race win, I'm sure. But first podium of the season might be able to break the cork off the bottle as such. But fantastic result for Ivan Velasco and Luka Ludwig. And they'll look onwards, I'm sure, to race 2 tomorrow.
Certainly will. This is a very strong performance once again, as we keep expecting to see. I mean, these guys could be so far ahead in the championship were it not for a bit of luck. Obviously, there was a contact in Portimao that cost them a better position. There was the penalty in Hockenheim as well that cost them a win on the road. And they've finally found their form, and it's all starting to come together. And of course, Luka Ludwig now solely focused. Well, he's still competing in Ferrari Challenge, but he's not doubling up these weekends now with GT Open. He's now focusing on the GT Cup Europe campaign and the title challenge with Ivan Velasco.
Yeah, absolutely, full focus on that. And we're going to take a look at the AM podium as well. Dieter Schweppes, of course, managed to take the victory for the 911 group. And yeah, fantastic job for them. Leandro Martins with a great first stint.
Can we just give a shout out there to Alex Ryman doing the double Lando Norris smash with both champagne bottles there? That was fantastic.
Textbook. Fantastic from Alex Ryman. But yeah, back to the AM podium. We've of course got Dieter Schweppes, as I said, with Leandro Martins, and then of course joining them too, Nathan Brauns, after a great effort on his part to close out the race. Alvaro Libera, who was under his own little bit of strain as well, but certainly a fantastic battle right through the course of the race. And there was definitely a lot more coming together between the AM classifications, I would say. Of course, Brauns and Libera were battling right towards the end of the race. But still more success for Mertel, another AM podium.
Yes, Alvaro Libera and Fernando Navarrete there. And that is their second podium finish. The only points they've scored so far this season have been podiums. They've only scored points in one race, and that was finishing second in race 2 in Hockenheim. But Nathan Brauns continuing his very strong first season in GT Cup competition alongside the reigning AM champion Laurens van der Velde there with second position. That is their fourth podium finish as well. But Dieter Schweppes and Leandro Martins sort of continuing to stretch their legs at the front of the field, really. It was just 2 points their lead going into the weekend, but this is a good one for them.
Fantastic results there indeed as far as they're concerned. Obviously Dieter Schweppes and Leandro Martins for the 911 RICARD Porsche, and Navarrete obviously gets to celebrate with Libera as well, P3. Of course got reprimanded for the cuts coming through turn 1, but at the end of it they did very well to achieve a brilliant podium result. Also credit to our a reigning champion, of course, when we speak to or when we speak about the car driven by Laurens van der Velde and Nathan Brauns. But tremendous occasion, Chris.
It certainly is. I think Leandro has busted his zip on his overalls
well
there.
done.
Hence the
Duct tape saves
hence the
everything.
gaffer tape there. Yes. I hope they get that fixed.
Well, absolutely, and he hasn't got long to wait because tomorrow we'll be back for qualifying in the morning, folks, for a race in the afternoon. We'll see you then. From all of us at Paul Ricard, goodbye.